Ambassador John Bolton is the former national security advisor in the Trump administration. He joins us live tonight here on the Hill. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for being with us. I appreciate it, as always. I know that you know the global scene, but I just wanted to walk through for our audience real quick, sir, where we are all around the world tonight, and then we'll jump into it here, Mr. Ambassador. So this is the map, and this is just a few of the headlines from the last 24 hours. Of course, we know of Sinwar and the move from Israel earlier today. But we also learned within the last day or so that Israel is likely planning to retaliate against Iran, likely military sites. So that's just one story along that thread. Then there's the B-2 bombers who have launched a strike in Yemen. As you know, sir, there are the Houthis that they targeted, the Iranian proxies. B-2 stealth bombers going after a bunker, going after weapons there in Yemen just last night. There's also a report out today that North Korea could be sending some 10,000 troops to Russia or into Ukraine to help Russia with its war, with the war in the Russian-Ukraine war. So that's the past 24 hours, sir. And then in the past week, here's some of the headlines. The Chinese military, with its biggest provocations to date with Taiwan. They are ratcheting up their escalation there. Some folks think it's a matter of when and not if China moves in that direction. And then we saw the foiled Election Day terror plot, ISIS-K behind that. We know, sir, that ISIS-K was, the CIA was able to foil a plot with a Taylor Swift concert over in Europe. There's worries about ISIS-K in Afghanistan spreading in that nation. So, Mr. Ambassador, that is some of the world stage. Whoever is the next commander-in-chief, that's partly what they could be dealing with here in 95 days. Let's start with Sinwar, sir. He's dead. What, in your view, if anything, changes?
Well, it's a good day for the whole world that this particular terrorist who was responsible for planning the October 7 attack on Israel has met his just desserts. And I think it opens a lot of possibilities here. He was the best-known Hamas leader still in the fight in Gaza. There are a lot of Hamas leaders who are somewhere else in Doha and other places in the Middle East, although they may be going into hiding as we speak. So I think this presents Israel with an opportunity really to finish Hamas off in the Gaza Strip. And there's no way you ever get the people of the citizens of Gaza who are supposedly innocent of Hamas's activities, you never get them to normality until they can dream and they can see the possibility of a Gaza Strip without Hamas. So significantly here, this could be the beginning of the end of the Hamas threat. It doesn't end the other Iranian-backed threats to Israel, that's for sure. But this has real potential.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. He was eliminated. He was killed in Rafah, key southern city in Gaza. And this is what Kamala Harris said about Rafah earlier this year. I want to get your reaction on the other side.
We have been clear in multiple conversations and in every way that any major military operation in Rafah would be a huge mistake.
A huge mistake, she said. Mr. Ambassador, we all know you've been critical of Donald Trump. I wonder who you think is best positioned to lead this country going forward, him or her, when it comes to the Middle East.
Neither one of them, frankly. I don't think either one is fit to be president. But I think what you just played from Vice President Harris shows the fundamental bankruptcy of the Biden administration approach. They were more worried about a wider war than they were about allowing Israel to eliminate the Hamas terrorist threat. There have been atrocities committed in the Gaza Strip because of Hamas using its fellow Palestinians as human shields, building a fort underground in Gaza and trying to use their own people to prevent Israel from exercising its legitimate right of self-defense. It cannot be that the terrorists get a veto over self-defense by committing another terrorist acts, not against Israel, but against their fellow Palestinians. Yet that is Hamas's whole battle plan. And it's why when Israel says its goal is the elimination of Hamas politically and militarily, that's really the only acceptable outcome for people who want to end the terrorist threat.
Mr. Ambassador, when we look at this map and what presents, at least for President Biden right now, because he is the commander-in-chief, right? So you've got Ukraine, Israel, what's going on with the Houthi rebels in Yemen, Afghanistan, ISIS-K, possible invasion of Taiwan, North Korea, right? When you look at this map, sir, what do you see?
Well, I see a need for American leadership in the world, strong leadership with our allies to combat what is increasingly the threat from a Chinese-Russian axis. It's not fully formed yet, but it's certainly in working order. And these threats, as you run through Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, are connected by the fact of that axis. I think the Biden administration has shown weakness time and time again. I think our allies are worried, certainly in the Middle East and Eastern Europe and in East Asia. And you need a president who appreciates that America will not be safer if it withdraws from the world, if it retreats, if it looks for ways not to take on these adversaries, simply make the adversaries more emboldened.
Let me leave you with this. When you look at what's happening across the world right now, there are American troops all over this country, as you well know, and they are fathers, they are mothers, they are husbands, daughters, brothers, sisters, and on down the line. How should they be viewing the upcoming few years here, as you see it?
Well, I think they should be hoping that you have a president that dramatically increases the defense budget, that follows and understands what Ronald Reagan's peace through strength strategy entailed, that the best way to protect American interest and avoid war is being much stronger than your adversaries so that they're not even tempted to engage in aggression or the use of force for fear of the consequences. And right now, we are not feared in too many places.
Ambassador John Bolton, got to leave it there. Always nice to speak with you, sir, and thanks for being with us here on the Hill. Appreciate it.